I just feel like your clients are the ones that want to talk.
All my clients, like, you know
Like I
what?
feel like they pick you because you're not the
They like
quiet
to
type.
talk.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. And I think that clients do mimic the stylist. Like,
No,
no, I swear,
the
like,
exaggerations. Thank you guys for coming again. I appreciate it. We're going to talk about hiring today. So there's several different ways to hire. We do posts, we do advertisements, there's referrals. We have stylists and assistants that tell their friends about us, our education platform, and there's also recruiting, right? What are your thoughts on recruiting? Not necessarily the process of what you do. Like, what are your thoughts? You guys kind of do it too. Some people call it poaching. It's like the dirty word. What are your thoughts?
I don't think that there's anything wrong with it because if somebody is happy where they are, they're not going to come to work for you anyway. So I think it actually falls on the place that they work. If they're not meeting the standards of the stylist and what they need and allowing them to grow, then that person is going to look for somewhere else to go and grow, right? And if the other person on the other end is offering something really great and exactly what they're looking for, then they're going to take the leap of faith and start a job with them. I also think that like Google takes from Amazon, and like even if it was corporate, it'd be the same thing. It's like people have to find certain credentials of people where they're looking, right?
Yeah. No, so like my take on it is I was like years ago when I had my first business and I was like, cool, I was never gonna do that. I was never gonna recruit, poach, whatever you want to call it, from other people. And then eventually two things happened. If I wanted to get somebody who's great, like if you got to look at it like you're building a basketball team. So if you're building the Knicks right now, you want to get the best player. You don't have time to grow that person. And if you do, they might not stay. You're going to go after the best person, right? So I had to look at it like that. I didn't for a while, and people were taking, I was building all these artists, and people were taking them from me. And I had to either get emotional about it and be like, fuck that, that's fucked up, or I have to find a solution also. And it wasn't like a vengeful, all right, you take from me, I'm going to take from you. I understood what the game was. In order to grow, you can't just build from your own place. They're gonna get married, they're gonna grow up, have kids, or they're gonna open up their own place. That's just part of what the ecosystem is. And so like what we're doing is giving other people an opportunity. I look at it that
Yes,
way too. Now I
100%.
have rules for me, which is like if I'm cool with you, I'm just not gonna talk to any of your stylists or any of your whatever business assistants or anything like that. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? There has to be a relationship there. But if I don't know you, like it just is what it is. All bets are off. I have no emotion with it, right? So those are my rules. Now, it doesn't necessarily work that way on the other side because I know I have people that came after our stylist that I thought we were cool with. And then obviously there's no relationship after that, right? But again, I think we're just offering somebody a different opportunity or a better opportunity. And lots of times they're good where they're at and we leave it alone. Like that's where it's at, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Now, do you guys think you're having? I also hear in the industry a lot that not just in the hair industry, in the food industry, any service industry, manufacturing, that it's really hard getting employees right now. That they're different. It's a different generation. That they don't want to work. What are your thoughts on it? At least, what are your thoughts on that? And what's your experience too?
I mean, we're extremely assistant heavy at the room, and it like gets flooded with assistants. So I don't really see it as that. And I'm saying assistants because they're younger, so that's that generation. I think they're looking for more though. So what we offer is like heavy education, in classes and on the floor. So they just want more, and they want to be like on the floor sooner rather than later. So that's where I kind of don't like agree with that whole thing because,
It's not your experience.
yeah,
So,
I don't
but
really.
they asked them, they're like, cool, how do you get, now we're talking different, right? We're not talking about recruiting assistants, right? You're talking about attracting them more than
Yeah.
anything. So, how do you guys get interviews? How do you guys, like, how do they come? Like, why are they going to your
I think social
salons?
media is huge. Like we're constantly on social media posting. We post like just us hanging out at the salon or like vibes, stuff like that. Just to attract the right people to where we are.
Yeah. And so I'll ask Sam. So, and I'm asking both of you guys or all three of you guys because you guys do a lot of the interviews, right? You do a lot of interactions, the DMs. How do you vet those people out? Like, what are the qualifications you look for and what are the ones like, Like number them for me, the importance.
So
Like is skill the most important thing, or
no,
is it
so
like
I was
alignment
gonna
and
say,
culture?
yeah, off the bat, as soon as we see their hair page and their resume too, you can usually tell if someone's super qualified or how professional they are by their Instagram, by their resume. Ultimately, we look for, I would say, vibe more than anything. Is this a happy person? Is this a positive person? Are they posting constantly? Is their social media going to fit our salon vibe, or like who they're showing themselves as through their social media? So I would say that's number one. Through the door, as soon as we get them in, same thing, right? Their energy, how they look, how they present themselves, if they smile, that's like the biggest thing. So I would say we start there. Skill is probably the last thing that we're worried about. Obviously, we make sure through their Instagram or their portfolio that they, have the skill to work there too. But I would say overall, their energy.
Right, cool. Like I said, I'll add to that in terms of they have to be aligned in what our core values are, what our culture is.
Yeah, we don't bend on that.
Yeah, solution like those are our non-negotiables. You have to the energy, you have to be positive, have to be solution based. You have to be in alignment with what we do. What does that mean? You're going in, you have to believe in our vision. You don't gotta agree with everything. You just have to believe in our vision. After that, we figure out skill, work ethics, very important. Showing up on time means not on time, right? And making sure. And are you a team player? Are you willing to participate in everything? Do you come to the classes? All those things. And then like skill is easy because if you're not up to par on skill, we're gonna get you.
We could do, yeah, that's
we're
the
gonna-
easy
We're
part.
gonna educate
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
All right. But like, so a lot of the topics I hear or talking points I hear sometimes too is when any business, but salon owners will say, and they're like, but I just can't attract. They don't want to work for me, right? It's just not happening. Especially, they're hiring when they need somebody and it's already a tough spot, or they have somebody working for them that they want to get rid of, but they can't because, they have an income coming in. And how do you guys deal? Like, when do you guys hire? When do you not? Like, what's
Always.
24/7.
24/7?
All year round.
Always hiring? Even when you're
Always
like
hiring.
filled with people and you're good, you're always hiring? When do you guys hire? Do you hire when you need to, when you don't need to? Do you stop?
You're
Is it
always going to
filled?
have a rotation. Like there's always going to be somebody that
Things
eventually
happen.
leaves, especially when it comes to assistants. Like if it's not working for us or if they're not on the path that we need them to be on, sometimes we have to get rid of them or vice versa. So you always want to have more people than what you actually need. So you're never have the moment where your ass is on fire and then you're like, oh shit, we have to hire now. We already have those people. We already have a good lineup. So we're not always looking for that person last minute. And then when you're looking for somebody last minute and your ass is on fire, 90% of the time you're going to hire the wrong person because you need somebody. And then that also based off of what we were talking about with energy and just the atmosphere and looking at people and hiring them based off of their personality, that goes out the window and that person could potentially mess up the energy of the location too as well.
Yeah, and I think too, like people go on maternity leave, right? Some people, disability happens sometimes out of nowhere. We don't expect it. Drugs, whatever it is.
That doesn't happen often.
Priority shift.
People move, right? Like all these things. So you just don't want to be in a spot where you have to hire, like Darlene said, and hire the wrong person that could ultimately be detrimental to the rest of your team.
I think a game changer too is like if you have 5 people there, let's say, and that's what you need. You have 5 chairs, for example, and a few assistants. If you add that one more stylist or one more assistant, it changes the dynamic of the whole place where they're like, oh shit, what if they can replace me very easily? And it's not in an aggressive, mean-spirited way, but it's competitive.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the saying is like, one pig gets skinny, 2 pigs get fat because they have to fight for the number of clients, and it keeps it. When they have all leverage in the sense of like you're feeding them, like we feed people clients, we build books, that's what we do. And then all of a sudden, if we have 2 people and we're building books, if one leaves, we're fucked. We know that. They know that. Once you put the third over there, it changes it. They're like, okay, it's not guaranteed. I got to figure out also mindset and everything. They don't think it's like, because some of the talks sometimes are always like, there's like salon, there's owners and employees. So what we do is we grab somebody who's an assistant traditionally, right? And we educate them, we build their book, show them the culture. Retention's very important. Just retail, pretty much we build them a phenomenal book with high-end clients that at a great price point, and they do very well. On the flip side, as employees, they think they did everything. It's their job, it's their clients, it's their, you know what I mean, their hard work, their social media. That might be true for some employees in salons. It's not true for us. We're very, very social media focused. We do a lot of ads, aka a lot of ad spend, a lot of seminars, coaching. Like, there's so much behind the scenes, without going through the list. So whenever you give them all the leverage, they're just gonna, and rightfully so, assume that they're doing all the work, right? So having that extra person actually alleviates some of that leverage and pressure, where they're like, okay, we are worth something, and you don't have your back against the wall.
Also, if you hire somebody that is just a hustler, like comes in strong, it also pushes people to want to work like them. Like,
Yeah, I
if
think
somebody
that
comes
they
on
step
with
it up.
all good stuff, like they step up the atmosphere too, because they're doing it and they're like, oh, I'm inspired. Like, I want to work that way. I want to double book myself. Or I want to, one day get my own personal assistant, because the way she books herself, she has a personal assistant. So it also could switch things up in that aspect too.
Yeah. I think also, like, our salons, and I talked to, this isn't just like, I don't want to sound biased, like our salons and this is what we do. That's what works best for us. But I always want to hear contrasts of other people. Like, we don't have receptionists. So we rely on our assistants to be the receptionists too. And what that means is, when they come in, they answer phones, they clean, they organize stuff, get the towels, everything. It's very, by answering the phone, they also learn consultation, right? How to talk to that client. When they come in, how to smile, how to take their coat, how to give them water or coffee, or if they're hungry,
They're
or something
building
like
relationships.
that. How to book them.
And I feel like it teaches them how to manage their book when they do get on the floor, because they already know how to talk to clients, how to answer phones, how to consult. They've been doing all of that and having that conversation. So they are very well prepared when they do get on the floor.
Yeah. And it gives them the
talk with them.
responsibility of
Yeah.
figuring it out, so that when they do get on the floor, they're like, cool, this is how it's done. And they show the next assistant what they need to book them. So it makes it very efficient. It makes it, listen, nothing against receptionists. For us, it hasn't worked until maybe it does one day. We've tried a bunch of times. We always thought receptionist isn't a career. They're going to leave. They're never going to book clients the way that stylists want
They
them
don't
to
care
book.
as
They don't
much
care.
as-
Exactly.
yeah.
And I think our model with the assistants, not to mention cost savings. We look at everything as like our stylists, our assistants, us. We don't have one job. We multitask. We do multiple things for the pay, and we compensate everybody very well to do that. So that's really important. So let's talk about, it's like the state of the union, right? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. So lots of people also talk about salon suites. Salon owners, I think, since COVID, have been getting a bad rap, and in the sense of like where, we run slave ships and we're stealing everything and we're fucking people over. We wake up every day and we're just like, how are we gonna fuck everybody over? We had a meeting earlier today and it was like, how are we gonna fuck? Right? And so, like, I do think it's turning, because now there's more education, like more salon owners are speaking, there's coaches, there's all that, which is a good thing. But, and there was salon suites in the middle of that too, right? I'm gonna give my take. So, like, on salon suites, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. We were never afraid of them or anything like that. I think it's that midway point where somebody's capped or stuck or frustrated at a salon, and before they go open up their own salon, maybe they go to a salon suite. I think it's great for us, because after a year, they realize, like, oh shit, I have to do everything. I have to pay for color. I have to go get it. I have to do towels. I have to do this. Maybe I need an assistant now. And now all my 100% profit is gone, because I got to pay rent, I got to pay color, and I got to get an assistant. And so I've seen a lot of them go to a salon suite, stay there for a year or two, and they used to open up their own salons, or they were just like stuck. I do see a lot of them going back to salons again. They don't announce it necessarily, because I think they're a little bit, right? But what's your, you had one for a little bit, right? How'd you know I was going to you?
I knew it.
Go ahead.
I knew it.
Ready? Hold on. Actually, we're going to pause. Let's go to Sam. What's your take on it? Because
I did notice a lot of people would open up their salon suites when they were like, all right, I'm tired of this. I want to keep 100% of my profit. And I think that once they left, they're like, I'm gonna do my own thing. I don't think they realize, because maybe sometimes we don't show too how much goes on the back end. Nobody has any idea, whether they think they do or not, how much actually goes into getting one client to walk through that door, to inventory, to payroll, to any of that. Nobody has a clue of that, right? And again, maybe because maybe we don't show that enough, but they think that they're going to keep 100%, right? They don't factor in getting your color at Salon Centric, Cosmoprof at Top Dollar, and then also having to do all of your clients, having nobody to help you, no assistant. Now you need to hire an assistant, but you have to make sure that you're booked enough to be able to do that, right? But I think ultimately people did that for the freedom, and they didn't realize where there is freedom, there is a whole set of other challenges. So you might have some freedom, but you have everything is on you, right? And if you fall short, if you're not booked, if you it's your own fault, right? So I think that's like the number one thing. People did it for freedom, and I don't think they're realizing, or I think they are realizing now, where all of that lies is not everything that you loved about a salon, like community, energy. I know for myself, like I need other people, I need big energy, high energy around me. So I always knew, right, that wasn't for me. But I think sometimes people don't realize that in the moment, that it can be isolating. It's not for everyone. I think for like a very specific type of person, it might be, good. But ultimately, I think people do that, like you said, like before either opening their own or they end up going back to a salon.
I think the freedom part's interesting because, you would hear like, I could come and go as I want. I'll only come in for a client and then I could leave. I don't got somebody telling me what to do. The artistic thing is always like, I want to be artistic, but I don't want nobody telling me what to do or structure. So I definitely get that. I think that
I would say it's their vision of freedom.
Correct.
What they think that
because they actually work more, right?
Yeah, you do. And if you don't, you should, because you're working for yourself.
For yourself. So you should double down. But I think salon owners, right? Not salon owners, and myself included, ourselves, like we did such a bad job, aka we did nothing of marketing and branding what it is to be an owner. And I don't mean like, oh, we work hard all fucking day. Like nobody wants to hear that shit. But like some of the behind the scenes, me personally, I thought nobody really gave a shit, and I didn't want to be the guy showing how much I work or what the costs are behind anything. But because we didn't say anything, that Salon Suites stepped up, and they were like, their marketing is genius. I know Phoenix Salon Suites is like, it says, get a salon suite and keep 100% of your profits. Now, what does 100% of your profits means, right? To stylists, they mean like, if I brought in $1,000, I keep $1,000. They just think that's profit because they think what the split is, right? But they had no idea. But I totally think it's, and I'll take responsibility for my end, and that's why we're doing this too, to like talk it out and kind of see what we go through, that it was just bad marketing or no marketing on us, and explaining, I mean more educating people of what it is, right? Now it's your turn. You prepared?
You knew it was coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in my head.
Let me rephrase it,
Yeah.
right? Because I want to like give us a little bit and just be transparent, right? Give us a little bit of like where you were at, because you worked for us before.
Yes.
Right? I know you hate this question all the time. You're like, again, when does it end? But it's a good
okay.
learning
You're used to it.
question,
Yeah.
educational,
Yeah.
I think, for everybody else more than anything.
No, I mean like I'm sad that I had to do that, but in the long run,
I think you needed to do
I
it.
needed to do it, try it, because I had gotten pregnant. So I was like, in my head, I was like, let me just do this now. Let me try it out.
But why'd you want to leave?
I think because I said to myself, I don't want to work as many days.
So freedom of time.
Freedom of time, like what Sam was saying. I ended up working 7 days. I thought my book
When you
was
left to-
when I left to go to the suite. I thought my book was solid. Like I was good. I could work 3 days, like how I was working at the room. I would be comfortable. I would grow, whatever. And I ended up not being book solid. Like my book wasn't as great as I thought it was. And I wasn't even able to get an assistant. And I was at like the top of my career. Like I was, you guys like trained me and everything. Like I had a good book. And I just found myself, the rooms were small. I couldn't really, even if I wanted a double book, it would be uncomfortable. Like I can't charge my price and do that to my client. Like it just wouldn't make sense. The rent was high. The rent was higher than most brick and mortars.
Yeah.
So there's that. And the room was about not even, I think it was like, what would you say, like 200 square feet, maybe?
The room?
No,
I
not
was
not
like,
the
that's like-
room,
oh,
the
sweet,
suite. I'm
got it.
sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
room itself
Yeah, yeah,
was like 200 square feet. So like,
tight.
yeah, it was terrible. And then just like what Sam was saying, like the cost of everything. Yeah, I got humbled real quick. Yeah, but it is meant for like she said, like a specific person.
It's a segue.
Like, yeah, but I realized like how much I want a team and I want to rely on a team, and I feel like working like how we all work together, even with the employees at the room and Chop and everything. Like I love that. I crave that. So yeah, it just wasn't. And I think most stylists do crave that too. They just don't realize that they love
need
that.
that. Yeah.
I think what like happened was because there was no other contrast to
Yeah.
or perspective is like structure became a bad word.
Right.
Right? They wouldn't even call it structure. It would just be like authoritative. They're telling you what to do, when to come in and everything. Like our structure is just really easy. It's like you don't got to work 5 days a week. You could work 3 or 4 days, however you want. You want to work 5, you could do that too. So it's open to that. The days you work, those are your hours. So if you're working 9 to 5,
That's literally one of our only rules.
it's 9 to 5.
Yes.
No, we have lots of rules, but in
like-
terms of timekeeping,
yeah.
it's like, and the reason people don't understand is like because social media and DMs and emails and the phones and heavy advertisement,
Yeah.
we pay. We need somebody there to pick up the phone and to book somebody. If you're not there, we can't book you.
Yeah.
It's that simple. We're not booking.
Yeah.
We get a ton of same day appointment calls and last minute calls. Hey, I live
Online
around the block.
booking.
Can you take
online
me real
booking too.
quick?
Yep.
4:15. We close in 45 minutes. Sure,
Yep.
come in. But if we closed at 4 that day because there was no one, we would have missed that client,
Yeah.
right? And that goes for every salon.
And if you're just coming in and taking the clients that you have in your book and then leaving right after, you're only going to have the clients that you already have in your book.
Yeah. You
can't
and you're
grow.
not going to have any more space for anybody else because you're not there to take anybody else. So you have no space to grow. Yeah. You're only going to have what you have. And then that's it. You're going to limit yourself to everything else.
I don't want to say
they're-
complain, but they might have an issue with the staying their work hours. That's literally one of the
They're like, listen, we close at 8. It's 7 o'clock. I don't have a client. Can I just
Yeah.
leave? And then the problem is like, if I let you leave, everybody else is going to be like,
and then we
cool.
close at 7.
And then we close at 7 forever.
And then it's 6.
Then it's 6 because you won't book if you know that works. And I've seen it in lots of salons
Yeah.
and everywhere else where, I'll drive by or I'll go somewhere and it's like 4 p.m. I'm like, where the fuck is everybody? But I know they have that culture and I know who they are. And it's like, yeah, if somebody calls, come in, like, you're not going to fucking drive in.
I just have to say, like, I think that the room is the way that it is because of what we did in the beginning, especially like the first 3 years. We were literally there from 8, 9 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. And for at least a year, it was almost like 7 days a week, like just us as like the few stylists that we had. And because we were open and we had so much time to take people, or we hit every area of the day, like we hit the morning people, we hit the midday people, we hit the people after work at night. I think that's why the room is the way that it is now. And I think that that's what people don't
works.
realize actually works, especially when it comes to growing your book. If you have a book already and you notice that certain months it's like a little like hit or miss and you get a little wonky for like a week and then it picks back up, like that's the week that you should be there. That's the week that you should be staying, because that's when you have the opportunity to take new clients. That's when you have the opportunity to grow more and to get more people in your chair when, 90% of the year you can't take new people. So I feel like looking at it in a different perspective is really important too.
Yeah. And I think like, so that's a lot of the behind the scenes work that we do, right? The social media, the pictures, the investment heavily on advertisements, on educating the assistants, and then it's obviously retention too. We want to make sure that these clients come back. 'Cause you were talking before, you were saying with the salon suites, a lot of people, when they go there, they don't realize how much, you good? You can't have a side conversation.
No.
I didn't have a
Oh,
side
you
note.
love me.
I grabbed my water.
Now I got to blink my eyes because they're a little dry. Wait, hold on.
You want
I was a little parched. I didn't say anything.
But just make it quick, if anything, because I'll get distracted too. So, all right. So before you were talking about the salon suites and how a lot of people go there and they don't understand the costs of doing business, right? Cost of goods, social media, websites, like whatever it is they do. And you were saying they don't understand the cost of what it takes. And I think you were talking about time wise, but I'm talking now about monetary, what it costs to get a new client, right? What does it cost to get a new client? What's your understanding?
I would say about $100 plus a day.
You're talking about what? Ads?
Correct.
Sure. Out of those, what does it cost to get one client in? And if you don't know, you don't know.
I
I
don't know.
remember like when we were across the street, I would do the price of my balayage. So it would be like 300 or 400, and I would do that ad for like a month, and that would be good
What, one person?
for one
No,
person.
you're saying for ad, right?
Yeah, it was
Do you
for
know
an
what
ad.
so it's the cost acquisition of a client, one client. All the advertisements. So let's do this. So if
Sorry.
you can't do that. I know. I was like, wait a minute. All right. So we're talking about cost acquisition of a client. So what does it cost to get one client in? First, how many times do they have to see your social media ad? Is it one time when they come in? Is it that easy? It's thousands of times probably, correct? So now you have to have this ad running all the time.
Every day.
Correct? Cool. And referrals and all the other outside stuff too. Search engine optimization, Google, Facebook, IG, everything. At the end of the day, when that client come in, how much did it cost to get that client in? It's not the ad or what you spend per day. What do you think it is?
For the month?
No. How much did it cost to get that client in? One client. It's cost acquisition per client. So a new client walks in the door. How'd you hear about us? I saw an ad. You're not going to go to the day they saw the ad and what we spent on that ad. They've been seeing that ad forever. They've been seeing it. If you break it down,
3,000.
what is it?
3,000.
You think cost acquisition for one client? If you don't know, it's cool. Do you know?
No, I don't
you
think
know?
I know.
No,
It costs
not
around,
per client.
it costs around $300 to $400 for one client to come in. Okay, so if they're coming in and getting a blowout, does it pay for that cost acquisition of the client?
No.
If they're getting a full highlight, does it pay for it?
Possibly.
It pays for it? Well,
No.
No, you break
Why?
even.
not even, because if you're paying a stylist, we're going to use easy numbers. If it's 50%,
Yeah.
the salon made 50, not even, but then color, everything else. So the first time they come in, even if it's kind of the same with the cost acquisition of a client at $300 to $400, it'll never pay. When does it pay?
The second, third, fourth.
Third, usually.
Yeah.
Third or fourth.
Retention.
Just so everyone understands. So when stylists are like, they're my clients, this is what the book, if they came with them, I understand, right? But we've invested so much. So like when we have to do non-competes and when we have to put all this stuff together to protect what we're doing, because that's why, like, I'm just being honest and transparent. That's why it's not as simple as like, cool, just go. There's a lot of work behind getting just one fucking client. And that's why retention is so important. We're going to do all this work to get a client. If we keep on doing it, we're actually in the negative if we never have them come back. So when our stylists and we're talking to them and teaching them, like, hey, retention is very important. If you can't retain these clients, we can't afford to give them to you. It's because we literally can't afford to give you. Your retention's 20%. Imagine, like, we're just giving. You're getting paid. We're just throwing money. We're not, right? And that's why retail is important, everything else, because it pays for the advertisements. It's a long play. It means like we know we're not going to get paid till 3 to 6 months later. But once we have that client, and once they're pre-booked and we taught them, it's retention for a long period of time, correct? So like it's really important. But yeah, listen, a lot of people just don't understand it. I think this is part of one of the platforms we're utilizing to educate more people. I also think when you educate stylists, owners, the public too, because they don't have an understanding of what it is. Why is a balayage this price, or why is a haircut this much? They don't understand. They just look at it like you're just cutting, or you're just painting.
Or the best is like, I'm just going to get a trim.
Yeah. I know. But the point is, like, that's why we want to educate everybody. I also want to educate everybody, or as many people as I can, and not shit on other people, because we have to go through our process to get here. Other people got to get to their process, right? There's not a lot, but there are people out there that shit on other people. And because there's two I think there's more than two philosophies, but one is like this: cool, come work for us. We have structure. We're going to build your book. You're going to make a lot of money. Our culture's phenomenal. Our vision, our alignment. Then the other one is like, come work for us. We're not going to talk about money. We're going to give you the freedom to wear whatever you want, come and go. So you have that time, and then you have this like money and culture and everything, right? And it's cool because some people don't care as much about money. They want the artistic freedom to do this. And, you know, life hasn't kicked them in the balls yet and said, like, listen, you got kids, you got everything. You can't, you know, you need to do this. But ultimately, I really believe in kind of like what we're doing. And we've helped so many people from just like the best feelings, like when they buy houses, when they go on their vacations that they need to, when they only work 2 or 3 days a week and they crush it and they don't have those financial strains, and, you know, their family life is a lot better. And they go on maternity leave for 4 or 5, 6 months and then come back, and you could do that. It's very hard to do that on this side when it's just like come and go as you want, wear whatever you want, like the non-structure.
Even like the smaller wins of people leveling up because they hit the like their retention goal and their service goals and everything for the quarter. So like that's also really fulfilling too.
Yeah. And if somebody was coming and going as they pleased and didn't want structure or had no structure, we wouldn't be fulfilled on our end because we wouldn't really be able to do much to help that person grow.
I think it's really important to talk about some of the stuff that we do is like, you guys all started off as stylists, correct? And now you guys lead the salons and multiple salons, and you're on our leadership meetings every Monday, and you're a big part of us growing and talking about acquiring other salons or opening up other salons. And we have Miami, and we talked about New York City a little bit and stuff like that, right? What we also love to do is create opportunity for other people. The ones that, see, we can't get them from this side that are like, we just want the freedom to come and go and wear what we want and everything. That's cool. You can't become a leader, right? You can't become an educator. You can't, like, can you educate? Yeah, but our education has structure where it has meaning and fulfillment, and there's requirements, and people need to, there's standards. We were talking about, we had our evaluation for our boot camp, which is our education, pretty much from assistants to protege, and they have to test out. They have to hit a certain standard so that we could deliver that standard of excellence when it comes to hair, hospitality, and all those other things, right? So I think it's just like, and it makes us feel good about it. You know, it really, really does. I wanted to segue into, so we have a couple salons that are established, right? And then we have other ones that aren't established. They're either newer, or how do you make that happen? Is it that easy? Like a new salon after the 8th one, you're just like, this is fucking cake.
It's easier when you purchase it and it's already up and running. Acquisition. It's easier when it's than it is.
But some of them aren't. Like the one you're at now,
no.
in Maywood isn't. So talk to the mic and look at the camera. I know you're talking to me and you're forgetting again. You want me to propose the question again?
Yeah.
I'll do it. So I cut it. So let's talk about how it is to not just open. You ready? You're staring at her smiling. Just like, look at the camera. You're good. Because they're also getting your hair all the time. Look, monitor. You ready? It's not. I'm going to have to get a new co-host.
You just stop making me
Jamie.
laugh.
Well, get your shit together.
It's really you.
Right. It's always me. So let's talk.
So now we're going to talk about accountability. Sorry, go ahead.
Keep it score. All right. So listen, we've had acquisitions before. We've opened new salons before. Which one's easier, you think?
Definitely easier when you have an acquisition.
What's an acquisition for the people that don't know?
It's when you acquire something that is already up and running, has employees. When you do that, you do have to like tweak things a little bit, bring your culture into play, bring your systems into play there slowly, because you don't want to shock anybody or scare anybody. So you have to go about it like pretty strategically, I feel like. But that was definitely easier once you get over that hump of transitioning it into our systems. I think that when you get a salon that isn't up and running, brand new, have to start fresh and build clients, hire stylists, like literally starting from ground zero, that is when it's a little bit more difficult. It takes more time, and you really have to put your all into it. You have to be there. You have to set the tone. You have to set the culture. You really have to go in and lead by example in order for other people to come in and mimic that. Because if not, and if you're not there, they're just kind of coming in and they're running the show the way that they believe that the culture should be. And that doesn't always work out well. Also, a lot of people come in, they're not retaining clients. They're not focusing on retail or education or any of the important factors to help the salon grow at a quicker pace. So when we're there and we're present and keeping accountability, that is when it starts to transition quicker. You also want to hire the right people. You don't want to hire again just to hire somebody. We spoke about that earlier. You want to make sure that you're hiring the right people and not just out of need, more out of like, this is what we want for our salon. These are the type of people that we want for our salon. And this is how we're going to hire, regardless of how long that it takes. Because I feel like sometimes when you're under pressure and you know you need more, you just want to grab whatever you could grab in the moment. And that's not always right.
I feel like you're saying that based on some experience that you had before.
Yeah, actually. Because like the other day, for instance, like I've interviewed somebody and like in my head, I'm saying to myself, I need somebody for this day and this day right now for overflow, to not turn people away, for whatever the purpose is. And in my mind, because I knew that, I wanted to just hire them just to have another body there. But then I had to like stop, think about it, process it, analyze the interview, and realize that that person wasn't necessarily the right fit for what I needed in this instance.
And what about when you do have somebody in that position? How quick do you let them go if they don't? If they don't
30
work
days.
out? 30 days.
Maybe.
No, after your interview, I think right away.
Oh, right away. I thought you meant like if they start and then
No,
I
if
realize.
they do start, and
If they start.
what if they're shitty in 4 days? You're going to give them another
Oh,
27?
no, but it really depends on. That's a like.
No, it doesn't.
Person to person.
It does not fucking depend on anything. If they suck, the whole thing they say is like hire slow, fire fast.
Yes, of course.
But
I
you just
thought
put
you
30
meant like
days
how.
on it. No, I meant like if
Even how long
somebody's...
is the trial period?
No, there's no trial period. The trial period, yeah, it's a trial. And if it sucks, you don't wait till it ends.
No, you have to fire fast.
So if you're like, cool,
Well, let's see.
I'm gonna subscribe to this. It's for a year. And then you're like 30 days, like, this sucks. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to wait out another 11 months.
No.
The trial period.
Maybe I'll change my mind.
No. You gotta
We
get rid of it.
hire slow
Oh,
and
do not
fire
do not
fast.
edit this because this would be great. Yeah, now we do. It's starting right now. Cool. Thanks.
Starting today.
I think what she meant to say
Oh,
was
don't fix it. That's good.
no. She knew right away after the interview. She was like, "It's not it." Right?
Yeah,
and
that's
like
the
even though,
interview.
Sam was there.
even
I'm
though,
saying somebody that's working already there.
oh, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work
Well, what does that mean?
right away.
Cool, not 30 days, not a trial period. Like we tell them they're on a trial period and like we observe them and everything, but those are small adjustments. If they suck,
Yeah,
you just
usually you
gotta
know
get
by
rid of them.
the first day.
Usually you don't hire them if you already know.
That's not true because it's happened.
It did, but that was out of that was
And I feel like it might happen again.
no, that was out of
Desperation.
desperation.
But you just
which
said
we're
before.
not doing anymore.
Not
But
to
you
be
just said like,
desperate.
don't do it. But
Yeah,
if I
no.
need it Mondays and Tuesdays,
no.
and then I give them 30-day trial period, and then maybe we'll get rid
Let
of
me
them.
rephrase.
Once I find somebody
I'm
else.
speaking from personal experience.
We
that
all
I've
understand
hired
that.
To
I
somebody
don't think anybody's in dispute.
wasn't a good fit out of dire need,
Yeah.
and I don't no longer do that. I take a breath. I actually look at it.
So you're no longer in dire need? You're good?
No, even if I am, I'm not going to hire the wrong person.
All right.
I'm going to make sure that they're the right fit and not just do it because
that.
I need somebody.
All right, cool. All right. So
Thanks for the jokes, Phil.
that wasn't a joke. That was all you. So acquisitions, right? Cool. Now, how is it building from scratch in the salon? Not your first ones, like, you know, now you have multiple, right? And where you're at in Maywood right now, it's not necessarily like turnkey. Like you had to go in there and like tell people exactly what that looks like. Because on the outside, I'm sure it looks like, damn, they got fucking all these salons. They're just killing it. They're just crushing it. They're, what are the other keywords? You know what I mean? I'm going to fucking go.
It's not for the week.
Yeah, like tell me.
They barely work.
They barely work, always on vacation,
I was on vacation.
right?
Never with their kids.
That's what you hear?
It's probably what people think.
But Mom. What does it look like? Yeah, horrible. What does it look like though? Like don't give me the detailed version, right? because I feel if I didn't say that you would, but give me like what it looks like. It's you there. How do you build that up?
Well, being there all the time in the beginning, especially, I think that's really important. Even if it's a lot or it feels a little overwhelming, you have to be there more than you think you have to be. So that's the most important thing, is recognizing that you have to be there and then actually doing it. I think a big thing that we did like more recently was if we needed somebody, we took the people from our other salon that truly believes in us and wants more and put them there to help the salon grow as well, because they already have the culture. They already speak our language. They do believe in us and they want to work more and help us out and be compensated in different ways. So them stepping up and being able to get a change of atmosphere as well. I think that really helps. And also hiring and always hiring, like interviewing like crazy. Out of the 10 people you interview, you probably get 2. So, and that might be being nice, honestly. I think those are the most important aspects. The other thing is what we do with our clients and how the experience that we give our clients, I think is really important, because what makes us different than the 10 salons down the street or in the same town, because the reality of it is that we are very oversaturated with salons. So what will make us different than the other stylist down the street or the other salon down the street? And I think it really goes into client experience, from the moment that they walk in to as little as like refreshments and snacks and things that we offer them, and then like caring about them, remembering what we spoke about last time, remembering what they told us about us with their life, like the little things, and then also the work that we deliver and making them feel special. And giving them our focus. Like, for instance, I always tell the girls, like, if you have downtime while the client is processing, don't just disappear for the half hour that they're processing. Maybe sit down next to the client and talk to them. If they do like to talk and they're the client that likes to talk, sit down next to them, talk to them, get to know them more. Like, give them that attention that sometimes they are craving, and they want that relationship with the person that's making them feel beautiful. And then on top of it, once they trust you, you are able to dictate exactly what they need. And because they trust you, they will listen to everything that you tell them, because they truly believe that you have their best interest at heart.
I feel like when you said before too, which is important, you're like, talk to your clients, don't just disappear.
Yeah.
And you said like, if your clients are the ones that talk, I just feel like your clients are the ones that want to talk.
All my clients, like, you know what?
Like, I feel like they pick you because you're not
They
the
like
quiet
to
type.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that clients do mimic the stylist. Like,
No,
I swear,
the
like,
exaggerations.
they always
Oh,
say
God.
you get the clients that suit you best, and I really believe that.
Yeah.
All my clients
I don't know if
love
they suit
to
you
chat.
best.
And if they don't love to chat,
You're gonna make them.
they're gonna
fucking
love
chat.
to chat, and they're
Or
gonna
they're
want to talk
not.
to me every time that they come in, because that's just the relationship
You're
that
like,
we
that's just
build.
what the fuck it
It's
is.
like
Yeah.
when dogs start
Like-
to look like their owners.
Yeah, when people tell me like,
Or
"Oh,
do
my
the owners look
client's
like the
just
dog?
not
Exactly.
the talking type,"
yeah.
Yeah,
Make
said,
them
some
the
people
Have
are.
you tried talking to them?
No, but usually,
Yeah.
usually the stylist that says that is very quiet.
Yes.
It doesn't.
Yeah, they're like, my client just wants to zen and chill. And listen, I've had a few that do like to
That you can
turn
count
off.
on one hand.
Probably
She's
one.
like, we no longer talk.
We no longer get our hair
Look,
done.
what
Yeah.
you were saying though is, or at least what I perceived is, you said like you got to go all in.
You have to go all in. The one area that I think helped me the most with my clients was when I started to educate, because the way that I explain and break down education to the stylist is literally the way that I explain and break down things to my clients. And I think that aspect also helped me grow more as a stylist, because I was able to really care and share knowledge and, give my all to that person and be able to break it down in like layman's terms if I have to.
I think one of the things we learned through our consultation classes and everything too is you have to educate your client as much as owners have to educate their stylists and stylists have to get educated. I think educating your client. I think if you educate your client, it's no longer a sale.
It completes the service.
It's like
it
I
helps.
think you're actually doing them a disservice if you don't offer them the retail you were utilizing in that time frame. If you're not pre-booking them, if you're not educating them on proper care and maintenance. I remember Obviously, this is years ago when I used to have hair, and I went to several different barbers.
Wait.
I know it's crazy. Somehow we'll put a photo there, and
They
side by
saw
side.
you for that time frame.
But it's been distant memory now. But anyway, when I had hair and they would style it so dope, and I was like, fucking great, and I could never
Do it at
fucking
home.
do it at home.
That's
I
what
get
every
it once,
client
and I'm like,
says.
I'm just gonna freeze this shit
Yeah.
and keep it right. And then when I went to the last barber I had, like he educated me on how to do it, and it was so big, and I fucking stayed with him until my hair didn't stay, and it was just fucking a game
Until you lost your
changer.
hair, which he blames on me for losing his hair.
Why?
He said once he married me, he lost his hair.
You were at the wedding, you saw what happened.
Slowly.
So, listen, to wrap things up, if we could put in a couple things is work less, come and go as you like, don't show up when it's needed, hire only
Wait a
when your ass is
second.
on fire, don't pre-book, and
Don't talk to your clients.
your clients are yours no matter what.
And it's definitely a sale.
And it's a sale, and the owners suck, and they're just robbing everybody.
It's
and
easy.
fucking, it's easy. I'll pose a question to you guys, right? So, the last year we had to organize, right? Everything. We got our shit together, as they say. You know what I mean? In what phase do you think we're in this year?
Growing,
Growing.
Growth.
maximizing.
What does that mean? Growing.
That means possibly opening another salon,
Opening or
acquiring.
acquiring? All right, cool.
My momentum.
Momentum.
Good one.
Thank you.
Hiring.
Hiring. Cool. Do these things ever stop?
No.
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Actually, I was thinking that the whole time.
Yeah. So like,
Is this a trick question?
you know, we're gonna end with like momentum, right? You always have to be moving, speed. You always have to be hiring. You always have to be
Thinking of
maximizing.
ahead. Thinking of ahead. Thinking ahead.
Thinking of ahead or ahead, whatever.
Just make sure you're thinking.
I'm floating ahead. So look, on that note, we're just gonna wrap it up. That was a good segue. Thank you guys. Until next time.